If you're experiencing fame, you're 4 times as likely to die by suicide.
Overdoses, eating disorders, assault, discrimination, and death. What's the worst that has happened to some of the biggest Disney child stars?
I was literally left for dead after he took advantage of me.
I'm not supposed to outlive my son.
Number 1, Dylan and Cole Sprouse. Twins Dylan and Cole Sprouse were encouraged by their mother to become child actors.
Yeah. Were you pushed into acting?
I would hardly call it pushing. The choice never really existed.
Their mother wanted them to act in order to provide for the family.
In very many ways, she was living vicariously through the success of her children.
In 2005, they starred in the Disney Channel show The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, but their on-screen mom had something to say about the way they were treated.
Someone of significant power came down to the craft service, which is where they have all the tasty food, for those of you who don't know, and screamed at the number of donuts and said no more junk food until he looks like him again.
She felt like she had to stand up for them.
Dylan and Cole had different body types.
Mm-hmm.
And in front of everyone, Dylan was body shamed.
To make matters worse, Disney had hired a convicted sex offender to work on the show.
Leo, as you know, is the latest, hottest, hunkiest teen idol there is.
Yeah, his muscles.
Brian Peck was a voice acting coach cast as London Tipton's talking mirror.
Talking to the mirror.
2 words.
Brian was hired after spending 16 months in prison when he was charged with sexually assaulting Nickelodeon superstar Drake Bell, who was a minor at the time. The criminal worked on the show between 2006 to 2007, but as he was a registered sex offender, he wasn't allowed to be in contact with the children. Dylan and Cole Sprouse have continued their careers ever since.
I am tremendously grateful of the financial stability I have acquired now as a 30-year-old. And being able to say, yeah, I'm okay now.
Number 2, Raven-Symoné. Did you know Raven-Symoné from That's So Raven had an eating disorder?
Things were just really controlled because here in Hollywood, that's what happened. So food was pretty much the only thing that I could.
The pressure of child stardom at such a young age only worsened her condition, especially as she was the main breadwinner in her family.
Can't mess up in front of a live studio audience because each show cost about $1 million to make, so you just want to make sure that you don't mess up.
She then went through depressive episodes, spending days without being able to leave her bed.
When I turned 18, I knew something was going on, so I started going to therapy, and it's dissociation. I just black out.
Added to that, the actress was struggling to keep her sexuality a secret, and she was afraid of what could happen to her career if people found out she was queer.
I didn't have any role models either. Like, who did I have to look up to? No offense, Ellen back then? That didn't go so well for her.
The star never publicly came out, but the media eventually learned about it. In the last few years, she had to endure some bizarre comments from her That's So Raven co-star, Orlando Brown, where he allegedly lied over a sexual encounter he had had with the actress.
I did eat it. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie.
During this time, Orlando was going through a severe alcohol addiction that led him to some erratic behavior.
Nobody ever bought your Raven. Nobody's ever gonna buy your
At this time, there were some rumors about a possible That's So Raven reunion.
Orlando just got a tattoo of your face on his neck.
Meanwhile, Raven has preferred to not weigh in on the topic.
I think he's a very, very talented young man. No comment.
The star then went on to star in Raven's Home, where she played her iconic character from the Disney show once again. Number 3, Demi Lovato. This camp rock star has now permanent brain damage after nearly dying of an overdose. But how did she end up in that position? Just like other child actors in this list, Demi Lovato had to support her family from an early age.
I was so miserable and angry too because I felt like I was being overworked.
These extensive hours made her feel like she was being deprived of her youth.
If you're gonna work me like an adult, I get to party like one.
While working on Sunny with a Chance, her mental health worsened. She began taking drugs, which quickly turned into a devastating addiction.
I had an eating disorder and I was underweight and freezing.
More tragically, she later revealed that as a teenager she was sexually assaulted by someone on set. However, she has not revealed if this actually happened while working on a project with Disney Channel.
I lost my virginity in a rape, and then I had to see this person all the time.
All of these different traumas she endured worsened her drug abuse, and eventually, she quit Sunny with a Chance. The Disney star went through rehab on multiple occasions, but in 2018, she relapsed. The morning after, her friend came to her house.
So I got over there extra early to wake her up for it. Her door was closed.
Inside her room, she found the actress unconscious.
I overdosed on heroin and crack the heroin was laced with fentanyl.
She immediately called the emergency services who managed to save her.
The doctors told me that I had 5 to 10 minutes and before, like, if no one had found me, then I wouldn't be here.
However, the overdose left her with some permanent brain damage.
I have blind spots in my vision, and I also had hearing loss from everything.
In the last few years, she was diagnosed with bipolar disorder, kept sober, and became extremely interested in the paranormal.
I started expanding my consciousness with meditating in the desert and making contact with ETs, actually seeing things appear in the sky after meditating.
Number 4, Cameron Boyce. 20-year-old Cameron Boyce had an incredibly promising career until he was found dead on his bed. But what happened?
I still didn't believe it. There was no way this was true. I'm not supposed to outlive my son.
The actor became known around the world for his performances in Jessie and the Descendants film series.
We're your family too. We've been through a lot together.
However, his career reached a halt when he suffered a terrifying scare to his health.
Cameron had his first seizure at 16 and a half. And then until he had his second one, he wasn't considered as having epilepsy.
The star began taking medication and would go to the hospital multiple times to document his brain activity and make sure everything was all right.
And he only ever had seizures while he slept. He never had one while he was awake.
On the night of his death, he spent time with his family.
Dinner was over. I said, I love you, son. Love you, Dad.
He went back to his flat and went to sleep. However, he suffered an unexpected seizure. This was his 5th one in 4 years.
Somewhere between the last text he sent me in the morning, he was gone.
His flatmates found his corpse the following day and called his family.
I tell my daughter, we're both screaming and crying, and I'm driving.
Cameron will also be remembered as a philanthropist who helped raise money to bring clean water to underdeveloped countries.
What you leave should be bigger than you. Make the world a better place instead of a worse one.
Number 5, Aaron Carter. This teenage heartthrob was unexpectedly found dead in his bathtub, but how did he die?
My greatest fear, not being able to live.
Aaron Carter was an incredibly talented singer who had reached superstar status by the time he was 9.
How many is here today? How many people?
I think like 10,000.
We've done 50,000.
Really? So then you felt like a big superstar.
I guess so.
He made his acting debut at 13 when he appeared in the Disney show Lizzie McGuire.
Is this yours? Merry Christmas, Lizzie McGuire.
However, while his career was skyrocketing, his relationship with his family became complicated.
What do you think the price of fame was for your family?
Self-destructing. Like a tornado just came through our house and family got tossed everywhere.
The actor began suffering from severe anxiety, and he turned to alcohol and prescription drugs.
I was huffing because I'm a drug addict. I'm a drug addict in recovery. You might not look at me smoking weed as being sober, but I do.
Over the next few years, he faced bankruptcy, domestic violence accusations, and even restraining orders from some of his siblings.
I need help. I'm scared. There's things going on with me.
Aaron was later diagnosed with anorexia, schizophrenia, and multiple personality disorder. In 2022, Aaron Carter was found drowned in his bathtub after taking Xanax and compressed air.
No matter what, he's my brother and I miss him. I love him. I'm hoping one day it all makes sense, and I'm working on it.
Number 6, Allison Stoner. Allison Stoner has opened up about being a child star, dealing with the dark side of the industry, eating disorders, and even being fired for their sexuality.
Agents are encouraging me to look at early emancipation so I can work longer hours.
Allison Stoner was once known for their role in the Disney Channel franchise Camp Rock, where they played Demi Lovato's character's best friend. However, not everything in the show business was as the actress expected.
My first kiss was on camera in front of a crew of strangers.
Alyson claims that their career pushed them to adulthood early, experiencing some of their most formative moments on camera.
As I got older and I was asked to do sex scenes, I just remember thinking, before I will even have this experience with a partner in life, the world will see pieces of me.
Because of these experiences, the actress felt like they were forced to grow up fast.
I was being asked to speak and behave in these ways that felt really mature and inappropriate.
When the Hunger Games franchise was casting their young protagonist, Alyson focused on getting in shape. However, this eventually developed into an eating disorder.
I was so committed to the audition process that I underwent very intense physical training. I was on a very restrictive diet. My hair is starting to fall out.
At 17, they checked into a rehab facility after their eating disorder got out of control. In 2018, Alyson revealed to the public that they were attracted to both men and women and that they were encouraged to go to conversion therapy. Sadly, this news took a toll on their career.
I did end up getting fired from a children's show because they felt that I was unsafe now.
knew I was queer to be around kids.
Since then, Alyson has been very outspoken about the dangers surrounding child actors and the decisions that have to be made to guarantee their safety.
Families and young people are not properly educated on the risks, pressures, consequences, and difficult processes and decisions ahead.
Thanks for watching.